me, we're going to talk about faith over fear. I've been hearing a lot of that term lately. Faith over fear. What is that? I never really thought about it before, but it's very, very important, because if you don't have faith, you're going to fear everything, and fear will prevent you from the greatest joys in life. You know, that person you never did go up to and ask for a date, or that raise you never got because you never asked for, that job you never got because you never asked for. Why? Because you had fear. And you have to come to a point where you decide you're not going to have fear, you're going to be fearless, and you're just going to simply have faith, and faith will carry you through. So let's get to it. This is exciting stuff, because this has been life-changing for me. You have to live a life of fearlessness. It's a two-part process, really. So I'm going to talk about fear and fearlessness and faith over fear in this video. And then I have another video where I'm going to talk about intuition, because intuition is, once you have faith, your intuition will guide you into one direction or the other. Whatever is meant for you, your intuition will know. It'll be God speaking through you, and you will find your direction in the world. Now, I just want to say, because I do say the word God a lot, whatever it is that's a higher power that works for you, you can replace that word with higher knowledge, whatever you choose to worship, or however you see the world. For me personally, I believe that God takes a role in my life, and so I use the word God. But please feel free to interchange that with whatever relates to you, whatever makes sense to you, okay? So when we are fearful, there's a lot of self-talk. Things that go through your head. If you've ever had an anxiety attack, or been in a situation where you had a lot of fear, there's a million things that are running around in your head, and most of them are shoulda, woulda, coulda type questions. Someone used to say to me, whenever I would say, what if such and such? And they would say, what if questions don't exist? So I don't answer those questions. So he's absolutely right. What if questions don't exist? So why are you going to fill your brain up with all this nonsensical knowledge when all you really need to do is just stay focused at the task at hand? Fear was given to us in order to help us navigate life. You have to remember, we came back from the caveman days where you had to hunt for your food and fight for your food and protect your cave and your space. So you needed intuition. We didn't even have language then. You needed to listen to your inner being in order to stay safe. So if you didn't have the fear reflex, then how are you going to know that approaching that dinosaur or animal or whatever was going to keep you safe? You didn't. So we have to listen to our instincts, our fear. We have to have them to keep us safe. But at the same time, we do fear things that we should have no business fearing. So that's really what I want to talk about today. Those things that you fear that you probably should think twice about. They say every day you should face a fear. You should do something that scares you. And I highly agree. Every day is a bit excessive. Give yourself maybe once a week. Try something that you really, really don't like to do, or kind of have a little bit of a fear about. For me, years and years ago, it would be going to a restaurant by myself. I don't want to be that person. I remember when I used to work as a hostess, they would say, okay, if someone comes in and it's just them, don't go, oh, you're by yourself today? Don't remind them they're alone. Like it was a big taboo if you were to eat alone. I don't think anyone cares nowadays, but I eat alone all the time because I travel a lot. So it's no big deal for me. But back then, it would have been a really big deal for me to go to a restaurant by myself. It would have felt very uncomfortable, very vulnerable, very exposed. So I didn't like those feelings. It's baby steps, you know. you got to find a fear and then just go out and do it. So if it is something like eating alone or going to the movies alone or asking for a raise or asking a person for some help, it could be any random thing. But you just have to stop listening to what's in your head and just do it. We're all socially awkward to some degree. So don't worry about being socially awkward. You would be amazed at how similar we are as creatures. And that's why when I do these videos, it really does apply to everyone, because we all are the same. As much as we want to believe that we're so different from each other, we're very much the same. The things that go into our heads and the thought process and the things we say are all the same. So let's start there with fearlessness, faith over fear. At some point, you just have to have blind faith. You know, there's signs out there, you can follow your intuition, but once you've conquered a fear a week, let's say, I want you to focus on blind fear. Blind fear is putting one foot ahead of the other and having no idea where that foot's going to land. That is blind faith. That is the master class in having faith. And it's so easy because, for me anyway, I have a lot of faith in the higher power in my life. So for me, it's actually not such a difficult thing, but I'm learning that it kind of is a difficult thing for a lot of people. When I first moved to LA, one of the things that was a big challenge was I didn't know anyone out here. I didn't have a job out here. I didn't particularly have a lot of money set up. I'd never really lived away from home before. So there was a lot of fear. And I remember that morning I woke up and I'd set my alarm really early because my intention was to drive from Florida to California from dawn to dusk. So it was very early in the morning, and I remember the excitement I felt. There was a lot of fear there, but you can channel fear into something positive. So I channeled that fear into the excitement of this journey ahead. And I just had faith that there were going to be signs, that my intuition would know where to go and what to do and what the next step was going to be. That first day out, I got a speeding ticket. So that wasn't a good sign. But I think I was really excited to get there. So I'm going to chalk it off as being not a negative experience, just to slow me down and remind me to take my time, that this is a journey, not a destination. And it's really, really good to be journey focused rather than destination focused. Because when you're journey focused, you are more present and you are focusing more on the positive. When you focus on the destination, you are wondering why you're not there yet. It's sort of like not fulfilling this, what is this in society? We want to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Immediate gratification. Thank you. Immediate gratification. That's what I want to say. So focus on the journey. So there were some signs and things along the way, but one of the most important things was that once I actually did get there, I was so steadfast and so strong about, nope, this is where I need to be. This is gonna all happen when it's supposed to happen. I have no control over this, and you clearly have no control over some things. In this journey, I knew there's some decisions I can make, some things that I can do, but ultimately, the things that were going to come into my life, I had no control over. I just had to let them flow in the way that they were meant to flow. You have to keep your promise and faith. So you can't just go, oh, well, today I'm feeling really strong and I'm going to have a lot of faith that things are going to work out. But tomorrow's a different day, and tomorrow I'm going to be down in the dumps. I'm going to be negative Nelly. I'm not going to think so much about all these possibilities that could happen. And you can't be like that. You have to be steadfast. You have to be strong in your faith. You have to believe. I personally can't imagine going through life without the amount of faith that I do have. And it does take patience, I'm not going to lie. We are in a society of instant gratification, but good things come to those who wait, and that's very, very true. So stand and be fearless. It wasn't a smart thing for me to drive out to LA, a single girl, by herself, in a car stuffed to the gills with all my personal belongings. That first day that I got the ticket, I had to find my first hotel. Now, I had not mapped out any hotels or had any information regarding what cities I would stop in. It was just all from dawn to dusk. So it was getting dark. So I was like, oh, I'll take this exit. It looks like some hotels over here. And so I was driving through. There was this one guy. And now, looking back, he was probably a drug addict of some kind. He was looking to score. He was looking for things to steal. And I was going from hotel to hotel because they were full or they were too expensive. I don't remember the thing. But I remember I kept seeing this guy. And he finally followed me to this hotel. Now, I was in my car, but I had parked. There's a building here. My car was here, and there was like a series of bushes here, and they were very tall. You couldn't see over them, so it was almost like a wall. And I pulled in, and I thought to myself, where is that guy? I just know, I just know he's behind those bushes. And when I walk around the front of my car to the walkway, I guarantee you he's going to try to rob me or something's going to happen. But I got to get a hotel. I am going to get out of my car and I'm going to walk around the back and I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to take control of this situation. I mean, that's fearless because I didn't have a weapon or anything, but I just knew that I had to take control of this situation. So I get out of my car and I walk around the back side of my car and I go up to where the tall bushes are, and sure enough, he was standing up there kind of peeking around waiting for me to come around the front. And I came up on him, and boy, was he surprised. This is what happened next. He followed me into the front desk area, and he was so close to me, people thought we were together. And he would not leave my side. And when I got up to the desk and I was talking to the clerk, I was trying to give him the eyes like, this guy's not with me, you know, call the police, whatever. This guy, for whatever reason, for a split second, he went down the hall. I think he was just sort of checking out to see what was in there. And at that moment, I told the front desk, I said, I'm not with this guy. I don't know this guy. He's been following me. Call the police. Sitting by the front desk was this local, I'm going to call him. And he goes, you don't have your gun with you? You know, in these here parts, you can kill someone and get away with it. And I was like, well, that's all good and nice, but can we call the police and get this guy, you know, to stop following me? So anyway, that's what happened. The police came. They dealt with him, and, you know, what are you going to do? But I took control of the situation. I was a little scared about the parts of the country that I was in, but my next step is I had to get something to eat. So I got in the car. I wanted to be away from the whole arrest and the whole scene of the thing going down. So I went to this grocery store, and I stood out like a sore thumb. This was the deep South. They had food that I had never seen before. So I don't know what I ended up picking up. And I went to the cashier and I get up to the desk and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm in it over my head. This is not a good scene. Like, I stand out like a sore thumb here. I've already almost been mugged once. This is, you know, I don't know. I don't know about this whole thing. And the cashier looks at me and she goes, girl, what you doing here? You look like you should be in Hollywood, not down here. And I thought, that is a sign. That is a sign that everything's going to be okay. I'm exactly where I need to be. I mean, why would she, of all places, why would she say Hollywood? That's where I was headed, to LA. So for me, that was a sign. And oh, I was fearless after that. I went back to my hotel room. I remember I called my sister just to check in. And she's like, oh my God, Donna, be careful. Like, what is going on? And I was just laughing because I was fearless. I knew that that was a sign of reassurance. Next 2 days were completely uneventful. And I will say coming to LA was the most important thing I've ever done in my life. It gave me such a sense of empowerment that I would never have gotten had I stayed in Florida. And like, let's just imagine I got married and I ended up coming to LA. That's one thing. But when you do these things on your own and you approach fear and you look at fear in the eyes, it's a really beautiful thing. I have one more story for you, and this is the best. So growing up, my family rode motorcycles. I was different. I was not a tomboy like my sisters. I was very feminine. I was a cheerleader. I was different. And I had also crashed a moped. We used to ride around on mopeds, and my sister was on the back, and we crashed. And I feel really bad because she has a scar on her knee still to this day. Well, no one ever taught me like how to drive it or anything. So I think I panicked. We went over some sand and I grabbed the brake, and so we crashed, and I didn't get hurt, but she did. And I felt really bad. So as much as I wanted to ride a motorcycle, no one would let me. No one trusted me. I could barely drive. We had a sit-down lawnmower, and they would barely let me even drive that. So I was sort of thinking, yeah, I'm a failure. I don't belong on anything with an engine. It's just not for me. So having gone to California like I did, I was feeling very empowered. I was like, yeah, what next? What can I do next? Because I want to challenge my fear. And so I was thinking, yeah, I'll do that motorcycle thing. Well, come to find out, they had these classes that you could go to. They give you the motorcycle, they give you the helmet. All you have to do is show up, and they'll teach you how to ride. Beautiful. It was a 2-week class. The first night, it's all classroom stuff. And I'm starting to freak out because, this is a lot of stuff. You got to do this. And they're doing muscle memory techniques with you to prepare you for the next day, which is where you sit on the motorcycle out on the range and ride the motorcycle. So that morning I get up, trying to remember all that I learned the night before. I'm literally sick to my stomach. I had massive diarrhea because I was freaking myself out that I'm gonna kill somebody. I'm gonna kill an instructor, even worse. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill a student in the class. Like, it's gonna be horrific. I'm gonna be like that one person that flies through the bushes. Didn't happen. I did very well, really well, in fact. By the next week, the instructor was having me teach the other students who were falling behind. I would never in a million years have thought that I would have been able to do that because I had all this self-talk going on from the stuff from my past. I'm no good. I don't belong on a motorcycle. You're only going to hurt somebody. All that stuff would have prevented me from the joy that I felt when I finished this class. I remember driving away that day, and I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs, but I was so high. I was just intoxicated with excitement because I did it. I did it. And lo and behold, the next 8 years of my life was spent working in that industry, teaching people to ride motorcycles, racing and riding motorcycles, modeling in the motorcycle industry, you know, we call it precision riding for companies. I don't do stunts, but precision riding. So, I mean, come on. Would I ever have thought that that would be the next 8 years of my life? No way. But I never would have known or experienced any of that if it hadn't been for facing my fear. So there is a world out there, you guys, that you need to live, but your fear is the one thing that's holding you back. And I guarantee you, trust, take these steps, do one thing a week that you don't want to do. You have a little bit of a fear about. It can be anything, and build on that. You've got to have blind faith when it comes to fear. Now, I'm not talking about, committing crimes, doing things that can be horrific for your health. Okay, I just have to say this because you never know what people are thinking. But clearly, if there's something out there that you want to do, that you're looking to achieve, that causes you fear, by all means, go and do it. Live your life. That's all I gotta say. Stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be intuition. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good because you need intuition. It'll help you navigate your life like no one's business. Thank you for watching. See ya.